Hello and welcome. My name is TyrionLanstr. Well, guys, it is UC season, and that means it's time for some predictions. So, let's go ahead and take a look. They finally got it right, and so I can finally start actually making my predictions. And I'm going to go through what some of those predictions are and do a little bit of explaining as to, kind of why I'm making those. So, I'm going to try to do the ones that are pretty obvious, pretty rapid fire. FDH and Tough, I love us, but FDH is winning that. Not going to even get into it. We're not going to try. Riz and NW1, I'm pretty sure NW1's going to take this. If you look at their history, Riz and NW1 have fought before. Both times NW1 was the winner, so I'm going to go with them again. N3O and DPS, we've beaten DPS, and there's no way we could beat N3O, so I'm going to go with N3O. WTP and WLB, I'll get into it later, but I think WLB is one of the weaker ones here. WTP is one of the strongest. I'm going to go with WTP. ATD is probably my favorite to win. They're definitely moving on. KAC shouldn't have a lot of trouble with Ashe, but I think that the RYS and MW1 match will be an interesting one to watch. I think that this KAC Ashe one might be interesting. Keyword might. I think KAC will have no problem, but there's potential. I think that KAC has dropped off a little bit recently, but I still think they'll probably have no problem. BDR and HOH, BDR will have no problem with that. TBE and SPL is probably the most interesting match of this whole one. TBE just beat us. Just so people are aware, we kind of gave up midway through and were their allies in GB. We were happy to let them get enough so that we were happy letting them win basically and saving heals for us. So don't read too much into that, but they were stronger than us to their credit. But TBE's had some really impressive wins, beating RUI, housing the German Jokers. They've lost to Riz before, but that's, that and BDR. SPL has also had a kind of interesting run. Also, didn't really try against BDR, lost to BDR. But that's it. I mean, they've had some solid wins other than that. I do think the fact that they ran German Jokers a little closer, but it looks like they just kind of started giving them points at 80k. Solid win. Another solid win. I guess that for me, I just don't think that SPL has been really tested that much in the ways that TBE has. So I'm going to give it to TBE, but I do think that'll be a really close one and an interesting one to watch. Okay, so round 2. FDH and NW1. I think FDH will take that, no problem. I do hear that NW1 has a really fast racer, and NW1 has some strong accounts like the Odin account, but they've actually faced each other before, and it did not go well for NW1. So I'm going to go with FDH here. N3O and WTP, this one is such a fun matchup. I honestly think this will be a really, really interesting match to watch. When you look at WTP's roster, they do have a lot of strong accounts, but I worry that they're not going to be very well organized. They just haven't historically been very well organized, and I don't know. I really think that this N3O team is really, really solid. They have lost to BDR twice, but man, I think that they're better than they look. I think that people really are underestimating them right now. I'm going to give N3O the win here, but I want to note that this one is super close and could go either way. And I think if WTP plays smart in the way that I think they're capable of, I think they could definitely win. ATD and KAC, they've played each other before, and ATD wins pretty much every time. ATD is just really, really scary right now. I would not want to face them. BDR will beat TBE. I don't think that TBE will even try, really. They may, but I think BDR will probably win that. Okay, us and Riss. So I think this is really tragic for us because I think that out of all of the teams that are in the losers bracket, Riss is probably the hardest one. And it sucks that we have to face them. And I give them credit for probably being the toughest opponent for us. We've already beaten DPS. I think we'd have no problem with WLB, no problem with 9mm. I would love to face Ashe. I think we wouldn't have a problem with them. HOH is probably the next hardest after Riss. I think they would probably be tough. But I don't know. I do think that it's going to be a tough match. I do have some faith in us, and I think we can win it, but I admit that I'm probably a little bit biased on this. I also, as our shot caller, am instituting some kind of interesting strategies that I think might give us a bit of an edge. I'm hopeful that they will. We recruited some additional accounts though, so I'm optimistic that we can win this one. But I admit it'll be a stretch. Okay, DPS and WLB. I'm gonna go with DPS. I think they're not bad. When we faced them, they were definitely the toughest team that we've faced, and I just don't think WLB is particularly good. So I'm gonna go with DPS on this. Ash will beat 9mm, and I think HOH will beat SPL, but I do think that's another one that'll be a lot of fun and close to watch. All right, I'm going to be honest, NW1 I think will probably beat us. I would love for us to win that match. It would be super exciting and fun, but on a realistic level, I just don't see it happening. So I'm going to give it to them. I think WTP will have no problem with DPS. I think KAC will have no problem with Ash. Now, TBE and HOH, that is a really, really fun match. I am so excited for this one. I don't think they've faced each other before, but I mean, what an interesting matchup to have. Yeah, they haven't faced each other. Huh. I'm going to give it to HOH, but, you know, it is going to be a really, oh man, I don't know. Because I do think that TBE's leads are probably stronger than HOH. I'm gonna trust HOH. I'm gonna give it to them. I think that'll be a really close and interesting match, though. I don't know. That's probably the toughest one so far. Okay, FDH and N3O. This is a really tough call too. This round 4 is gonna be so much fun. By the way, I think that there's an aspect of this that is that I think FDH is probably going to get their preferred time slot, and I think that might play a role in this. But even as I say that, I just don't really have a lot of faith in FDH. I mean, Altizio is scary. They have some crazy strong leads, but I just don't know if I think that they can beat N3O. Like, they just haven't faced anyone like N3O. I'm going to give it to N3O, but that's another one that's a little sketchy that I'm not sure about. ATD and BDR, wow. I mean, I literally think BDR will beat everyone else. I just think ATD is crazy. I mean, they have just a ridiculous number of insanely strong accounts. Like, I cannot articulate how absurd this alliance is. Yeah, I just don't see them losing. They have too many strong accounts. Like, you don't have to be good to win. Like, when you have that many strong accounts. So I'm going with ATD. All right, NW1 and WTP. I think WTP will probably win that. I just could be wrong. I mean, NW1 will probably win the races, but I think WTP has the leads to kick them out and to be pretty successful. I'm trying to see, who did they lose to? And they lost to BDR pretty badly before. Yeah, I'm gonna go with WTP here. KC and HOH, I think KC will win. I don't think HOH is going to really try that much against them. I think they just know that they don't have the leads for it. Okay, so FDH and WTP. This is the toughest call I think I've gotten to yet. I'm going to go with FDH, but am I though? I mean, WTP, like, they've got CC, they've got Maromia. Oh, man, oh, man. I think that FDH getting their preferred time slot is, again, really going to matter here. I think that they're going to get to fight it at 100. I'm going to give it to FDH. I think they're going to win that. But, man, I don't know. I mean, that's going to be tough. BDR, I think, will beat KAC. I think that'll be an interesting and close one, but I think BDR can take it. Okay, round 6. N3 and ATD. ATD will win that. I actually think ATD will have no problem with that. I'm going to give it to BDR over FDH. I think BDR has beaten N3O a couple times already. They were close, insanely close matches. Like I've watched the matches and I still think that I'm like surprised N3O lost. Like I feel like they could have won it. But then I'm like, can I go against the fact that they've played each other twice and BDR won both times? But then like BDR is going to be sapped from this FDH match, from that KC match. And they've already faced ATD, so, who knows if they actually went hard for that or not. Damn, like, this is so hard. I do not know what the answer to this is. I'm going to give it to BDR, but I don't know. I'm gonna give it to BDR. All right, ATD BDR final. This is, like, the rematch from round 4. It's going to be awesome. I think ATD will win it, though. I think they're too strong. I think this is basically Run 2.0. I don't really see anyone giving them any difficulty. And I want to note that if this does happen, this will be like BDR's, like, I think either their 3rd or their 4th in a row runner-up in UC. And I just, like, I do on some level feel for them. Like, obviously I was in mad for our UC win last season, and it was awesome and great. But, like, I do feel for them, and I just want to note that BDR, I hope you win someday. I just don't think it's going to be this season. Okay, I feel pretty good about this. I'm going to go ahead and lock it in. Again, a lot of these matches are going to be really close. I'm submitting it and done. Not going to think about it anymore. I hope this helped you. I hope this analysis was at least a little bit helpful. Hope it wasn't too long. But love UC season. It's just one of the most fun events that we do, and I can't wait to get some results in and start talking about them. So until next time, my name is TyrionLanstr. I'll see you then.